Well, let's bring in Manqoba Mchunu, who's also in Ulundi and joins us live now. So, last day before the funeral tomorrow, Manqoba, talk to me about what's going to be happening today.
Well, Sel, I can tell you that preparations for the burial of the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi are at an advanced stage here at the Kwapindangene residence, where we're seeing quite a hive of activity this morning. We're seeing vehicles from the SANDF that are here just to ensure that the special official Category 1 funeral goes as planned tomorrow. And of course, we're expecting today that hundreds of supporters as well as Amabutho are going to be gathering here outside the homestead. This is in preparation for the arrival of the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. We understand that the family will be making their way to the mortuary round about midday today. They'll be accompanied by the Amabutho from the Buthelezi clan. Now, you recall, Sally, that eNCA Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi was also a chief of this particular clan, the Buthelezi clan, but also the traditional prime minister of the AmaZulu nation. And therefore, we're expecting to see quite a number of Amabutho. We understand that a delegation of those Amabutho will accompany the family as they go to the mortuary in Ulundi to fetch his mortal remains. Beg your pardon. And of course, Sally, what we're also hearing is that they are expecting quite a number of supporters as well as local community members to be gathering on the streets as that hearse that will be carrying Umntwana is passing by to make its way here to the homestead. And we understand that there will be Amabutho that will also be waiting here outside of the homestead to receive Umntwana Kwapindangene. And upon arrival, Sally, the family indicating that they will then have Amahubo of the Buthelezi clan sung here to welcome Umntwana Kwapindangene. And also there will be prayers that will be carried out, Khaya Bongo, Zamakosi, the previous kings that will be called out here outside the gate from Ngrengelele to Umyamana, who was the son of Prince Ngrengelele, and also Prince Amatole, who was the father of Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. So that is going to happen, Sally, as soon as they arrive here at Kwapindangene. But we also understand that this is then when the family will then start its own traditional and cultural rights that will be afforded to Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, as of course he was the leader of this particular clan. The family asking that mourners not come to this particular home and really asking for some time. They said, just give us 24 hours to carry out our own traditions and cultural rights. It will be a period of mourning, a period of grief, and of course it will be a somber one for the Buthelezi clan as their late chief arrives here at the homestead. They'll then be carrying out those particular tradition and cultural rights. And then tomorrow, Sally, that is when we expect that special official funeral to take place. It's been earmarked to start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and there will be two parts to that particular funeral. The first part will be, of course, the family and the rights, the traditional rights that have to be afforded and accorded to the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. And the second part will then be taken over by the military, as you'll understand that this particular special official funeral has military honors with it. They will then take over and lead the procession to the Prince Mangosuthu Stadium, where the funeral service is expected to take place. It is a 15,000-seater stadium, and so they're expecting quite a number of people to be arriving there. And the party pleading, Sally, yesterday, as you just read in that previous story that you had read, that supporters not come to the stadium in their numbers because of the capacity of that stadium, but we understand that there will be an overflow marquee that will be set up to accommodate those that will want to come to that particular funeral service, but really pleading to those who stay far not to come and to watch this service on television. So that particular funeral service, we understand, will be officiated by the Archbishop of the Anglican Church, Thabo Makgoba, as per the personal request of Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. But What you're expecting, Sally, of course, is a hive of activity outside Kwapindangene, as well alongside the streets of Ulundi, as the funeral procession makes its way to Kwapindangene, and then obviously tomorrow as well as it heads for that stadium ahead of the burial of the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi.
Yeah, so as you've explained, really from midday today, things are actually going to be moving into a formal process with those traditional rites to start saying goodbye to Mangosuthu Buthelezi. And of course, yesterday as well, there have been events occurring. We did see that a number of buck were slaughtered, but we also saw that a giraffe had been slaughtered. Do you have any insight into that? Is there a special traditional significance in that?
Well, certainly not quite, but what we do understand is that this was, just a gift to the family, just as far as accommodating the visitors that will usually come here. I can tell you, sir, that throughout this week, there's been quite a number of dignitaries, there's been quite a number of mourners that have been coming here. And of course, every time they arrive here at the homestead, there's provisions for them to be fed by the family. And, they don't leave here, according to Zulu tradition. You can't go to a homestead and leave, hungry. So they have been fed by the family, and this was just, I think, a gift to show, their appreciation of Umntwana Mangosuthu Buthelezi, and also a tribute of sort to the family, just to help them during this difficult time, to say to them that we're with you, we are supporting you. And we've seen, of course, many other political parties, we've seen other Amakosi that have come here also bringing gifts for the family, essentially to help them as far as feeding the mourners that will be coming here, the number of mourners that will be coming to the homestead. We understand that this one in particular, there was, Kaiser and Ezemvelo that had given or granted permission for this to happen. And so there's really not much, associated as far as tradition, but I think it's just a gesture and an assistance to the family as far as catering for those that are arriving here at the homestead is concerned.
Tell us a little bit more about this electricity exemption notice that's come from Eskom.
Well, Sally, what we understand is that there was a request that was made by the local municipality here, Ulundi local municipality, as far as load shedding is concerned. Of course, this is a state or rather a special official funeral that is taking place, and they had made that particular request as per this particular funeral category that will be held here, to say that they want to be exempted from load shedding. And we understand that Eskom had then considered this particular request, and they then given permission for that to happen. In fact, even yesterday, Sally, we didn't see any load shedding happening here in the area of Ulundi. They have said, Sally, that they have granted this particular request given this type of funeral that will be taking place. So what we understand is that the load shedding has been suspended essentially in this area and the area of Enyogeni also, and this will only commence once this funeral has been concluded. I understand on Sunday that is when the schedule is likely to go back for load shedding, and this is just to really afford the Prince or the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, time or that respect for those mourners and the family to be able to bury him tomorrow with dignity. So it is an exemption that was granted by Eskom, and following that request that was obviously made by the family as far as this is concerned.
All right, thank you so much for that update from Ulundi. That's our reporter there, Manqoba Mchunu, and of course he's part of a big broadcasting team that is in the area covering all the events leading up to tomorrow's funeral, and of course we'll be broadcasting the funeral itself here on eNCA.